What is up, everyone? Welcome to another edition of Live Locks presented by Scores and Odds. If you haven't checked it out already, just making bad life choices, going over to scoresandodds.com where you got picks from me, Meansy, Daniel, all the greats. Plus, you get access to this nice little prop shopping tool where you can see exactly what we have projected for each individual prop, plus where the best line's at, and most importantly, you get access to Grant's Action Lounge. What is Grant's Action Lounge? Well, it's my Discord where you can see all my bets as soon as I bet them each and every day. Before the lines move, just go to scoresandodds.com/Discord and get on in there. Just threw it in the chat. We got a lot of bets today. I'm going to have to go through this quick. I have a doctor's appointment, so I have to get out of here fairly soon. But it's not going to stop me from giving you all the picks you need here today. So let's just get right into it, starting off with, had a rough day yesterday, but still up 4Gs on the month. Yeah, things didn't go my way. Stat correction on Paul assists. Made him hit the under. He ended right at 9, so missed by the hook. Klay Thompson got ejected, missing by the hook. Cunningham got pulled out with 4 minutes to go, missing by the hook. So it went rough, but we move on. Evan Mobley over 14.5 points, minus 115 over at Bet365. Over at, if you don't have Bet365 in your state, you can look at this prop shopping tool and see it's at minus 113 over at FanDuel. So go hit that. We have a slight lean on the over. I actually really like this one. Paulo Banchero, over 19.5 points. You can also get this at 18.5. I kind of prefer the odds on 19.5, but that's because I can't bet. Oh, it's already moved to 19.5 in every place, but you can get this at plus 105 now over at DraftKings. Go hammer that. Hammer it. It's already moved to 20.5 over at PointsBet, but just go hammer that line. He's been absolutely crushing it. Had 20 plus in every single game so far this season, and he hasn't been shooting particularly well. The usage is absolutely fantastic. Just a bad overall line. 19.5. Eventually, the sports books are going to catch on, but until then, just keep printing money. Karis LeVert under 5.5 assists. You can get this at minus 140 over at Bet365. Well, there is no Garland. Number is just a bit too high. If you don't have Bet365, it looks like it is LeVert. It is at minus 145 over at Caesars. We have a slight lean on the under. I think our number is off a little bit. Same thing with Mitchell, 6.5 minus or plus 115 on the under at Bet365. Well, both of them are going to be essentially running the point the entire time. Both of these numbers are a tad too high. You can actually get it plus 110 over at Caesars, so still like that line there. Cade Cunningham over 6.5 assists, minus 115 over at FanDuel. Cade Cunningham, while he hasn't been great so far this season, started off well. I think getting 7 and 10 assists in the first 2 games is kind of tailed off, but he's a guy that should be facilitating this offense. There's a lot of guys where you can dish the ball out to. You got Bay, you got Ivy, you got Stewart. Someone else that I'm missing, I can't remember, that Bogdanovich. So, yeah, 6.5 assists. He should be facilitating a lot in this offense. This is an easy over. Drew Holiday, plus 1, under 19.5 points, plus 100 over at DK, plus minus 102 over at Superbook, minus 105 over at Bet365. Just had to go with a few different sites to try and get enough money down. Really like this under here while he has a decent amount of usage in this offense. It's not been great even without Middleton in here. He's got 6 and 19 points in the first 2 games. It is a solid match going up in Brooklyn, but still, overall, I'd like the under at close to even money, or at even money on DK, close to even money other places. I'd still take it up to minus 110. Brook Lopez over 0.5 assists, minus 125. We have him projected for 0.78. Have this at a 58. No, 58. 60% chance of hitting. So offering some decent positive ROI. Took the under on both Kyrie and Durant assists, minus 133 and 139 here. It's a tough matchup for them. Could be close, could be a blowout, but both these numbers are a bit too high. Same thing with Giannis over on the other side. I've taken a lot of unders on this one. Under 6.5 assists, minus 140. Randall, I'm hitting all the unders. Under 36.5 points, rebounds, assists. Under 10.5 rebounds, minus 130. Under 21.5 points, minus 115. All those over at Bet365. But you can find similar lines, I believe, over at Bet Rivers on all those. We can go ahead and check here. By the way, Bet Rivers is pretty much the same as Barstool, so I'll have the same line. Minus 120 over at PointsBet, minus 115 over at Bet Rivers or Barstool. For points, for rebounds, you can get it at, let's see. And by the way, RG projections are right here with me on Randall. You can get minus 133 over at Caesars, minus 130 over at Barstool. And then with points, rebounds, assists. You can get it at minus 123 over at Caesars. I think minus 120 over at Bet Rivers. We projected 3.5 points, rebounds, and assists lower. So, yeah, just bad overall line. I'm taking the unders on Siakam, 23.5 points and 9.5 rebounds. Rebounds has been something I've been hitting pretty consistently. It's always just a tad bit too high. Not likely that he's going to get a double-double. And 23.5 points is just a bit too high in the spot here. We currently have him projected for Siakam. Let's see. For 25. Wow, we actually have projected for the over. I'm against that. I like the under. I think the under is way better. Philly's not a terribly high-paced matchup. They're running at one of the lower in the league. So is Toronto, and while Pascal Siakam has been playing pretty well recently, these numbers are too high. Nikola Vuce is going over 31.5 points, rebounds, and assists, minus 115 over at Bet 365. I think we have way over on the projection on this. Vuce is going up against the Pacers, who without Miles Turner are just hot garbage when it comes to the center. You can still, looks like the line's moved, but as you can see here, Caesars at minus 142 on a full point over. Bet DraftKings 135 on pretty much the same one. Looks like PointsBet, you can still get it minus 120. I think Bet Rivers, you can still get it minus 125. And again, I don't think Bet 365 has moved their line yet. Levine over 21.5 points. Sorry, got a text. Levine over 21.5 points. You can get that at minus 113 over at Caesars. Let's see where else. Let's see if the line has moved. You can get minus 111 over at FanDuel. FanDuel was down for small bit of time this morning. Great matchup going up against the Pacers. Pacers are not good defensively. They are going at a huge pace. They're trying to lose. Levine should easily surpass this number. We have a massive difference, 14.68% difference, over 3.5 more points than his projected line. Easy over. Trey Jones over 23.5 points, rebounds, assists. Minus 115 over at Bet 365. I think you can get it minus 120 in most other places. This is just a bad overall line here. This is where the line should be if Vassell plays. If he doesn't play, this line is 6 or 7 points, rebounds, and assists too low. Vassell is taking up a huge amount of the usage. It's pretty much him and Keldon Johnson and Trey Jones. If there's no Vassell, then Trey Jones is going to absolutely crush in this spot here. Rudy Gobert, over 29.5 points, rebounds, assists, got absolutely dominated by Podol in the first matchup they had here. Not really expecting that again. Only had 6 rebounds. Generally has around 13 to 14. He's a beast on the boards, going to get a decent amount of points. Podol is a decent defensive center, but 29.5, too low of a line here, minus 120 over at Superbook. Cat over 21.5 points, minus 122 over at Superbook. Most places have them like minus 140. I think the line has already moved to 22.5 in most places, if I remember correctly. My screen just went out. Now it's back on. Minus 140 over at DraftKings. This is just kind of a bad line over at Superbook. I don't hate it at 22.5 and minus 108 at FanDuel, but this line has probably moved enough where unless you have Superbook, don't hit it. Anthony Edwards over 21.5 points. You can get that at minus 117 over at Caesars. Again, matchup versus San Antonio. While it was low scoring last time, not really expecting that again. It was 115 to 108. I think the total is closer to 230 here. Lots of these lines in this game are too low. Keldon Johnson under 6.5 rebounds. It's full rebound too low, minus 135 over at Bet 365. Pirtle, 10.5 rebounds, minus 125 on the under. He had 14 in this last matchup versus Gobert, but again, Gobert only had 6. Terrible rebounding spot for Pirtle here. He's not going to hit the over. Again, having Gobert and Cat in there and a lot of guys that can get a lot of boards. Going to eat up his potential rebound usage. Easy under there. Kelly Oubre under 14.5 points, minus 117 over at Caesars. They're trying to lose, though they haven't been losing. They are still trying to lose, even though they're 3-1. Still minus 115 over at PointsBet. Matchup versus Houston. They don't want to win this one. Don't expect Atlantic to play a ton of minutes. Easy under here. LeBron James under 46.5 points, rebounds, assists. You can get this at minus 120 over at Bet 365. If you don't have Bet365 in your state, then you can go over to, let's see, you can go over to DraftKings, -120, same line. We currently have them projected for 44. Match versus Denver isn't great. Line's just a bit too high here. Tyler Hero over 30.5 points, rebounds, assists. Over is -120 over at Bet365. I think it's similar in most other places. Let's see. Hero, keep getting text. We have him projected for 32. You can get it -123 over at Caesars, it looks like, so decent amount over. He's just been doing a ton of this offense, been great offensively. I think I had like a 13-point or a board game the other day and almost came close to a triple-double. He's going to get 20 rebounds. He's going to get, or 20 points. He's going to get 6 and 6 or 8 and 6. He's going to do a ton on the offensive end. He's looking good so far this year. Butler under 23.5 points. I keep hitting this and I keep losing. Numbers still say it. He's hit this in 3 out of the 4 games this season, but twice he hit by the hook. The other time he hit in a close game that went down to the wire where he hit, I think, with 2 minutes left to go, ended up with 26. I'm taking the under. Again, this is not going to continue. He should end up hitting the under in this spot. I know it's a good match for Portland, but Portland's been solid. Nurk under 11.5 rebounds, -125 at Bet365. Just his minutes are always in flux. While this is a spot where I expect him to play a decent amount of minutes, a matchup versus Bam is one of the worst in the league. Miami, one of the best teams in the league at defending bigs. And then 3 more bets that I made on FanDuel as soon as it came back live. D'Angelo Russell under 18.5 points. Again, I think it's going to be more of a Cat and a Anthony game. Anthony Edwards under 5.5 rebounds. Again, you got Pirtle, you got Cat, you got Gobert in there. Don't expect him to hit this rebound number. And then in the Lakers game, Patrick Beverley under 4.5 assists. This is LeBron's team. I'm rolling with the under. That's it. That's the show. These are the bets. There are a lot of them. Again, if you want to get them before the lines end up moving, go get signed up for Grant's Action Lounge. We are currently offering a decent deal. I think it's 6 months, $169.99. So, not great math, but less than $30 a month for the next 6 months. You get basketball. It says basketball pass, but you actually get football there too. So get signed up there and then go scoresandodds.com/Discord and you get my Action Lounge and just they roll in. They generally roll in between 10 to noon Eastern time every single day. There's a bunch of them. Basketball absolutely crushed. Let's see, what were we at right now? Up 15K for the season. Not this season in particular, but since I started doing this back in February, up 42 grand overall. So these are just the bets that I have during these shows. It's closer to 100 G's on the ones that I've thrown in the Discord throughout the year. So yeah, go get signed up, make money. We're out of here. Later, kids.